you know, we did do predictions,
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, we
and
did.
I think we all got fucking cooked on them shits because this was such a disappointing year. And
We
I
got
thought that we
washed.
would I thought that we would all have like a couple wrong, but I didn't realize we would all like stumble across the finish line in such an embarrassing fashion. Like we all blew it, bro. So I'm gonna just go. We're gonna go over all the predictions, talk about what we got right, what we got wrong, and we'll tally up and see who won.
All right.
So with
Spoiler,
round
not
one,
me.
spoiler, I won. Okay? I don't think I won by a lot, and quite frankly, I would have rather lost, and there'd been more interesting stuff there. But that's not what happened. I'm pretty sure I won because I went with some very safe picks to get me like 2 points. So with round one, the first thing we said was, or the first thing I said was that I don't think Final Fantasy comes out this year. Check. That shit was they said summer, they hit us with the summer 2022, and everybody was like,
Man.
no. Say what, King?
As soon as I saw it, I was like, this man finna cook us in the next podcast.
And
I,
the next
I was
thing-
like, bruh, I hope it come out this year.
Hell no, that shit wasn't gonna come out this year. Square is not built like that, where they just like, although they almost was built like that. If Ever Crisis was to come out, not Ever Crisis, Crisis Core was to come out this year, that would have been like some impressive shit.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna come out this year. I think it's gonna slide into like February because they said this
Oh,
winter.
okay.
And
It's
I'm
supposed to come out
like,
December, right? Right
Yeah.
now.
well, they just said
Supposedly.
this. They said this winter, but
Oh,
I
okay.
have this feeling that this winter is going to turn into December. I mean, like February of 2022.
I can see
If-
it. I mean, a lot of games
if-
come out in February anyway.
Yeah,
I think we
mean,
also
if
have
it-
to keep in mind that technically winter doesn't start until like
the last
damn
week
near
of
the end
December.
of the last week of December. So
Yup.
Yeah.
Yep. The next thing was Terrence. Terrence got one. Terrence.
One.
What it wound up being was something Persona will be shown between now and Evo, and Terrence was right.
You were right.
Like I forced him
It
to,
showed
like,
up in a way that I did not expect at all. Like, well, technically, it was a Persona collection, but not in the way that I thought it would be.
You thought
It
Persona
wasn't.
6, and I was like, I don't know about no Persona 6. And I fortunately I got you to say something more generic, and it just wound up being something Persona being shown between now and Evo. And I mean, you got it, so that's a point for you.
Huzzah.
Rakeem's prediction for round one got blown the fuck out like literally a day or two after we did the predictions. He was like, I think we're gonna get a release trailer for Star Ocean 6 at the Sony State of Play.
I thought
And like
so.
I think before the show even started, Square came out and was like, look, we're gonna do Star Ocean at the end of June. I'm like, well, that
Yep.
was already gone. So he already got
Yep.
blown out.
They shot that down like a days before.
They
Oh.
did. Will technically isn't wrong yet. So I mean, like, we could revisit this and he might be right.
Sure.
He said Advance Wars would be at the Nintendo Direct. There might, I mean, like, we haven't seen a Nintendo Direct yet. There very well may be one at the end of the year. So if
Mhm.
there is, I mean, you know, he might have it. So there's, I mean, like, we're at right now with as of round one, me and Terrence are tied. I think that's gonna change shortly, but let's see.
It most certainly will.
So points.
I know
I'm
that
just gonna
already.
say- I'm just gonna say for me, points pending. That's it.
I know a lot of my
Wait, which
positions.
one is
I know a lot of
pending?
my predictions were way out of pocket.
Technically, I got one pending too.
I think everybody has at least one pending one. So round two, Terrence definitely immediately lost because he was like, I think Grand Blue Fantasy Relink was going to be at the State of Play. And for the record, if it had been shown off at all, I would have given you a point, half a point. So like, I'm going to give everybody half a point if you're right about it showing up and if you're wrong about where it showed up. So like, Terrence was wrong. It wasn't shown at the State of Play. It wasn't shown at all. It got delayed for next year.
Oh my god.
Son of a.
Will was technically right when he was like, I think it's going to be
December.
Yeah, he was like, I think it's gonna be in December. I'm like, that's basically saying it's gonna get delayed, which is what happened. That is insane because there is a title card out there that says, "Hey, look, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink 2018," and I'm like, looking at this date,
Where?
motherfucker, you know,
Oh,
2018.
Hey man, they're about as bad as Cuphead, the delicious last course, coming 20.
Facts.
It's been
Facts.
so long.
Rakeem had like a 3-prong prediction for round 2 and blew all of them. I mean, like, all of them was wrong. He was like, oh, Skull and Bones gonna be at the Summer Game Fest and we're gonna get some on-foot gameplay, which I tried to tell him. I said, Akeem, I don't think that's gonna be the case. He was like, I'm sticking to my prediction. Well, you stuck to being wrong is what you stuck to.
I ain't got nothing.
You also stuck to Ubisoft doing their own conference, which they did announce they would be doing, but it wouldn't be in June.
Right.
So that's technically pending. So I don't know how to work that. And you were like, X Defiant would show up and Splinter Cell would show up. And no. So Rakeem remains at 0. How do you feel about it, Rakeem?
I feel like they let me down.
You ain't never lied. They definitely hold you.
I think what's funny is a lot of this stuff still could show up at the Ubisoft conference. I'd expected the Ubisoft conference to be sooner.
I agree. Like, it could indeed show up at the Ubisoft conference, but here's the thing. I don't know when that conference is because they couldn't even be bothered. Like at their Assassin's Creed thing, they were like, yeah, we've got the next level, the future of Assassin's Creed in September. I'm like, damn, in September? So that makes me wonder, like, if Assassin's Creed, we don't get that until September, when is that? They call them Ubisoft Forwards. When is that? October?
That's a good point. That's weird, too, because they did a complete opposite of what Square Enix did during the Final Fantasy VII event, showing the future of Final Fantasy VII all the way through, really.
Yep.
And then they did Assassin's Creed and basically just took us back through, like, the most boring, historical, like just playing old games, just talking about, oh man, this was cool. Remember Origins?
Didn't mind it. Like I went back and watched.
It was nice to listen to.
Like I was watching them play because I mean, like it was Origins that they were playing. We both
Origins is a good ass game.
So
I do like it.
I
might play it again. I'll be honest.
Will was half right.
Okay.
Will predicted Hollow Knight Silksong at Summer Game Fest, and it was not there, but it appeared. It was at Xbox.
Yeah.
How you feel?
At least I know it still exists. They still ain't gave me a goddamn date.
They definitely didn't give you no date. They hold you on
that was weird.
I thought that was very strange.
Don't get it.
And then I don't even want to give myself a half a point for this. I just don't. I'm sorry. They said Dragon's Dogma 2. I predicted Dragon's Dogma 2 would be either at the Sony State of Play or the Summer Game Fest. It was at neither of those things. It was announced, kinda. And that's why I don't want to give myself any points for it. Because not only did we not get any gameplay, we couldn't even get a goddamn, we just got the Resident Evil 2 remake. We do it. Like, come on, man. Like,
we got
nothing else?
DD tall tees for everybody out here, bro.
I guess we gonna get some Dragon's Dogma tall tees. Like, what? Like,
they
couldn't
crip walking.
Remember the days when we used to like hate cinematic trailers?
Yeah.
Shit, I'd have took that over just a t-shirt reveal. Like, why did they do us like that?
Yes.
All right, round 3. Will is about to catch up. By the way, I refuse to give myself a point for that or half a point. Fuck it. If I lose because of that, so be it. Will pulls ahead because Batora Lost Haven did make a reappearance.
Nice.
I forget at what show. I think Future Game Show. Terrence, I mean, Will, do you know?
Year. I think it should have showed up at the Future Games show because that's where it showed up last year.
So I mean, all those shows kind of fucking ran together, so I really couldn't tell you, but you definitely got that one. How did it look to you? Did you see the new trailer?
I hadn't even had a chance to look at the new trailer as of recent. Got a little busy, hadn't looked at it yet, but knowing that it's still kicking, I'm happy.
Feel you. Rakeem.
Yes, sir.
Rakeem predicted Mario Odyssey 2 at a Nintendo Direct, which may still happen. What did y'all say? Points pending?
Points pending.
Still points pending. As it stands, you get zip. So Rakeem is still at at 0 points. So
no, man, I'm Cero Miedo. I got 0 fear. Let's go.
Terrence,
I know I'm wrong.
reached for the stars and crashed miserably into the earth by predicting a Metal Gear Solid remake. developed by Blue Point, and Blue Point like, I don't know why the fuck you thought we were working on. Konami not gonna give us nothing cool like that. And at Summer Game Fest at that, Jeff Keighley was like, "What the hell is this Negro think I got? Like, I ain't got the hook up like that.
Hey, that should
Konami to fuck off.
That should have been what that should have taken the spot of Last of Us Part 1 remake.
That would have
That'd
actually
been
been
live.
way more hype. Metal Gear Solid remake, it would have been way more hype. Would have been more deserved.
You definitely would have.
I also crashed and burned. I was like, you know, maybe we'll see Wonder Woman. And Jeff again was like, I don't know what these Negroes think I got. Pixie Dust, like, I can't make games appear out of thin air. I ain't got this shit. Wonder Woman was not there. I'm sorry.
Sorry,
We might see that game at DC Fandom if they do another one this year. The last one was fucking miserable, but it did have a very high number of people watching it. So it might show up again. If they do it again, I could see them trying to get not only Wonder Woman, but more Gotham Knights. And maybe that's why Gotham Knights hasn't said anything. And Suicide Squad. And if not that, San Diego Comic-Con is like a month from now.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that's right.
yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I know, right? Like you kind of, especially coming out of a pandemic, you forget about that shit. So, but I can absolutely see them showing up there. Once again, we all crashed and burned on this round 4. So with round 4, Rakeem, Supergiant, huh?
We'll
How
see
you
them at the Game Awards. We ain't gonna see it. We ain't gonna see it with nothing else. If we don't see them now, we see the Game Awards.
I
If
guess
that.
we'll double down on that one.
Well, didn't they technically they announced additional stuff coming to Hades?
Didn't they?
I think, didn't they? Well,
have no
look it
I
up.
mean, well, don't
didn't-
don't hold me to that. I mean, continue on with what you're with the
If it did, it slipped through the cracks because I didn't see that in any conference.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Will kind of got hold. He predicted Silent Hill remake by Bloober Team or a new game.
Oh yeah, I did. They had some other
Bloober
shit
Team
come
did
out.
show up to Summer Game Fest
They did.
with a
Just
brand
not
new
with
IP
what I wanted.
that nobody cares about. I mean, like, I'm not gonna say nobody cares about it because there's a possibility people do want it, but not over Silent Hill.
Right.
So that's really the problem. Like everybody's like, "Where's Silent Hill?" And they like, "We got a new game, and we don't want no new shit. We want the shit we didn't play before. Where's Silent Hill?" So
yeah.
What was the new game what was the name of the new game they announced?
Layers of Fears, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah, it's basically like a sequel to like the original Layers of Fear.
Oh, okay.
Was there another one?
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's a first one out called Layers of Fear, and then there's Layers of Fears with an S.
Oh.
It's a weird little thing they did with the title. Like if you don't pay it no attention, you're just like, these are the same fucking game. But you know.
No, I mean, like once you said there was a previous one, I was like, okay, I understand the difference. Because I was like, why is it Layers of Fears? Because it should just be Layers of Fear. But like when you say, oh, there was a previous one that was called Layers of Fear, I'm like, oh, okay, this kind of makes sense.
Maybe I'm tripping and they didn't add anything to Hades. I could have sworn I saw something, but maybe I don't know. I must have been in some alternate dimension at that time.
Well, in that alternate
the game.
dimension, Hellblade 2 got announced, but in this dimension, it did not get announced. And it did not get announced. It didn't get a release date. That was your prediction for round 4. You were like, oh, Hellblade 2 will get a release date. I'm going to be honest with you. I think you got hold on that one because Microsoft was like, yeah, we're only going to keep to the next 12 months. And of course, that game wasn't going to come out in the next 12 months. So I think maybe if they had extended it out to like next holiday, you might have been right. So I think you kind of got done dirty on that one. And if we had known going into it, like I said earlier in the podcast, if we had known going into it that it was going to be just the next 12 months, I wouldn't have let you pick that. I would have asked you to pick something else off your list. So
It'd be like that sometimes.
It do be like that sometimes. But you know who it ain't like that for? For me. Because for round 4, I predicted Starfield would get some gameplay, and I was right. I was right. They not only did it get gameplay, that's how they ended the show, which is how they had to end the show. People were anticipating that game too much. I'm sure Bethesda, if it had been left up to them, they might have just delayed it until like next year or like Game Awards or something like that. But because Microsoft is like, yo, nah, we got to show something. Like you gonna put something on this motherfucker. What's that Denzel? I'm leaving here with something. So Microsoft is probably like, nah, y'all finna put this up here. So that leaves us I think Will is at 1.5. Terrence is at 1 point.
Yeah.
Rakeem is at 0. And Terrence is at 1. So okay, we all right. Round 5.
Finally.
Terrence, you predicted a new Mega Man game announcement at Summer Game Fest.
Capcom said no.
Capcom
Survey
did say no.
says.
Capcom said no harder to you than they said to the Dragon's Dogma fans.
That's
Actually, I'm gonna
crazy.
be honest with you. I would have preferred what happened to Mega Man fans and Dragon's Dogma fans because they had the nerve to show up at that Capcom Direct and was like, "Hey, bro, we want to tell you about Dragon's Dogma 10th anniversary." And Hideaki Itsuno came out there and was just like, "So 10 years ago, we made Dragon's Dogma. All right, I'll see y'all later." Like, damn, bro. Like, he had that swaggy baseball shirt, but other than that, I'm like, bro, you ain't got that fun.
You know, he said, I always wanted to make an action RPG, man. We made Dragon's Dogma. And I
That's
can make 2. All right.
After that, he was like, I'm out. Rakeem, I asked you not to predict this. We talked about it multiple times before, and every time I said no, it's going to be at the Game Awards.
I'm down this year. I'm gonna take this year.
But you was like, no, I believe in Ed Boon. I don't. You predicted Mortal Kombat 12 would be at the Summer Game Fest.
I thought it might show up. The only reason I thought it might happen because many years ago, Injustice showed up at E3. The first Injustice actually showed up at E3 first. So like maybe maybe because it's been a while, they might go ahead and show this at the Summer Games Fest and get a leg up on it. Maybe have some playable demos for people at whatever area they had, kind of did for Street Fighter. But I was wrong.
I think they had such a successful cycle with Mortal Kombat 11 where they just showed the game off at the Game Awards. And then the next 4 months, they just kept showing new characters.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
a constant
Good point.
drip feed of information up until the release date. I don't think they're going to mess with that. Like, especially since they already missed this April. So I was like, next April seems like a likely, because they love April for releases.
Yeah,
So
they
next
really do.
April seems like a likely release date. And if that's the case, then the Game Awards seems like the best. So predict it again during the Game Awards, and you might get a point. Like, yeah, I feel like you're more likely to get a point. Real talk. Will again is hit with the points pending because you predicted Bayonetta 3, Nintendo Direct get a release date, and there is no release date because there is no Nintendo Direct. How you feeling right now, Will?
All I can say is, if Nintendo fails me when it comes around, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I might have to go
what's
directly
crazy?
to their office.
You know what's crazy, Will?
What's
You
that?
have the best chance of being the surprise winner when we revise this.
We gonna see.
Because both of those predictions for the Nintendo Direct are very reasonable. Advance Wars and Bayonetta 3, like both of those are very reasonable. And if you are right, you pull ahead by like a lot. So you might
We'll see.
win later.
We gonna see.
But later ain't now. So let's get to me and let's talk about this Final Fantasy IX remake that wasn't there.
Oh,
Mm.
man.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know where that's gonna be if not here.
Let me be honest with you.
Yeah.
I feel like Square could have had something, like you said earlier, could have had things with their smaller titles in it. So I'll say this. I don't know where you may have where did you say you predicted might have showed up at?
I didn't. I just said it would show up.
Okay, so I'll say it like this. We gonna put this as a thing of Square holding you because they simply went. We gonna talk about this game and this part of the series only. This
is
where we
at.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like,
yeah.
I'm thinking maybe they thought that it would be too much Final Fantasy altogether because you give the news on 16, then you have the stuff on 7, putting 9 in there.
Yeah.
That's kind of a bit too much. So that might be the reason why.
Conspiracy brain. If you talked about 7 and 9, then you talked about 16 because 9 plus 7 is 16.
Oh, hold on now.
I ain't gonna lie. That have been genius. Show 7 off, did the 9 remake, then 16. That would have been genius.
Will reached in his pocket and found some Half-Life 3 math.
You already know.
Oh yeah, I remember the
Oh,
Half-Life 3
Spider-Man.
stuff.